From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Keith Allen and proudly welcoming you to this Wednesday's edition of For the People. It's May the 10th. It's 2017, and the conversation has to do with Comey, the director of the FBI, being whacked out of the position. And a lot of people are saying a lot of different things. And not as a big surprise, Chuck Schumer of New York has a lot of different things to say. And it's amazing how the Dems have this 180-degree turn because of the firing. Here's Chuck Schumer now.
I simply said to him, Mr. President, in all due respect, you're making a very big mistake. And he didn't really answer. And I have said from the get-go that I think a special prosecutor is the way to go. But now, with what's happened, it is the only way to go. Only way to go to restore the American people's faith. Are people going to suspect cover-up? Absolutely.
Oh, it's got to be the Russians. It's got to be the Russians. More of this conversation, special prosecutors, and there's no there there. There is still, after all these weeks later, all these meetings on Capitol Hill, closed-door sessions, there is no evidence of showing any type of law-breaking or collusion from anyone in the Trump organization, in the Russian government. This is just unbelievably absurd. And yes, the Democrats are doing this about-face. Not a surprise at all, but you know what? There's just no principle here. There's as if the American people are so stupid. But there's folks, sadly, that will go along with the narrative that the left decides these are going to be their talking points and everybody's going to be able to march to that drum. You know, yesterday we talked about Scientology being a cult. I'm seriously thinking now that maybe perhaps the Democratic Party, a large portion of it, could be controlled possibly by Scientology. Because people are just brain dead, zombies, almost like, that they don't see the insanity from these so-called leaders that are holding these meetings. And all, again, it's a strategy. Their strategy is calculative. What they're doing is they're trying to make Donald Trump look like he's done something wrong, or the people that he's chosen, there's something wrong. But people are asking, but why now? Why now? That's the big conversation. Why is there the firing now? Why do we have to replace the director of the FBI? Well, supposedly there hasn't been very good blood, even though there was a pat on the shoulder saying good job with the testimony. Nobody, most people on the right, were not very, very happy with James Comey to begin with, just because of the handling of the Hillary Clinton emails. Was there enough to lock her up? Was there enough to indict her? Of course there was. His own words snared him. I was surprised that it didn't happen sooner. It was absolutely ridiculous. You know, they're talking about restoring the public trust in the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Well, it needs to happen sooner rather than later. Nothing's good that's coming out of this. Maybe him being removed and having somebody else lead. How can you really properly lead with this witch hunt, really, that's being conducted by the left to try to find collusion? Because they're not going to find anything. But the man can't concentrate on his job, can't do his job, and he cooked his goose, if you will, a while back there in January. That's really where it happened here. They should have prosecuted And a lot of stuff that came out of his mouth, a lot of people are saying that it was just an overstep of his position with the FBI. A lot of people said that his britches were too big, that it was an abuse of power. But Hillary Clinton broke the law, and she should be behind bars, be the truth be known. Donald Trump said the best friend of Hillary Clinton was James Comey. It was embarrassing. She says it cost her election. She costed herself the election because people before the emails, it was not just the emails. If it was just the emails, that'd been too easy. It was just the emails. It was just the server of, what do you mean wiping it down? What do you mean scrubbing it with bleach bit? Remember, that's a program that was used on some of the computers to erase every single thing that they could possibly do. But remember, the stuff bounced around multiple devices, and they were able to capture quite a bit of those emails, thousands and thousands of them. Our Vice President Mike Pence in Capitol Hill addressing many of these issues today.
And I think the American people welcome that, and they know that, as President Trump has done so many times before, the president is going to take the time necessary to find an individual of great experience and great integrity to lead the nation's law enforcement agency at the FBI, and I look forward to being a part of that process.
Mr. Vice President, did the president ask the Deputy Attorney General to conduct a review of Director Comey?
The new Deputy Attorney General, who was just sworn in 2 weeks ago and confirmed by the FBI, came to work. He is a man of extraordinary independence and integrity and a reputation in both political parties of great character. Came to work, sat down, and made the recommendation that for the FBI to be able to do its job, that it would need new leadership. He brought that recommendation to the president. The Attorney General concurred with that recommendation. And I personally am grateful that we have a president who's willing to provide the kind of decisive and strong leadership to take the recommendation of the Deputy Attorney General and the Attorney General to remove an FBI director who had lost the confidence of the American people. That being said, let me be very clear. We have some great men and women who serve in the Federal Bureau of Investigation every day, who make enormous sacrifices for the people of this country. And I'm very confident that the president will go through a process and he will choose an individual who will be able to lead the FBI, not only back to credibility, to restore the trust and confidence of the American people, but lead the FBI to even greater heights to ensure that it does its job enforcing our laws and protecting our country.
You know, and I think that was very classy of the president to do that because there are so many great agents that work for the FBI that do a terrific job, but because of just all this, the shenanigans facing with the left here, with the testimonies and the grand juries and blah, 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 blah about this collusion, this is just insanity. And Trump today, meeting with a top diplomat from Russia at the White House, and Henry Kissinger, by the way, saw him seated in the White House. I have no idea on that. Henry Kissinger. Yeah, he's at the White House today, so that should be interesting. I know the press will probably be hounding him. What's Henry Kissinger doing here? Apparently has some influence, and Trump probably wants to hear from him. Definitely seems to be a good man. Has been a good man, has served our country well. But there you heard it from the vice president. He needed to really put it out there. The truth of the matter is that people really do not trust the FBI the way that they should. And Donald Trump obviously been sounding off on Twitter today, talking about replacing the FBI Chief Comey with somebody that'll do a better job and bring back the spirit and prestige of the FBI. So Trump said Comey had lost the confidence of almost everyone in Washington, Republican and Democrat alike, adding that when things calm down, they'll be thanking me. And then Trump also slammed Democrats for criticizing Comey's dismissal now when they had criticized his handling of the Hillary Clinton email investigation. The Democrats, this is the tweet from Donald Trump today. The Democrats had said some of the worst things about James Comey, including the fact that he should be fired, but now they play so sad. James Comey will be replaced by someone who will do a far better job bringing back the spirit and prestige of the FBI. Another tweet, Comey lost the confidence of almost everything in Washington. We've heard this one. But when things calm down, they'll be thanking me. And the other one, Trump. Trump abruptly fired Comey Tuesday night. The surprise decision came amid law enforcement agencies' investigation into whether Trump's presidential campaign was connected to Russian meddling in the election. And that's courtesy of Newsmax. So that was the news headline from there. And thank you for their great work there at Newsmax. Good source of information when you're looking for information, and they do a terrific job. Folks, there's the information. There's not going to be, again, you've heard it, no collusion with the Trump administration. No matter what the Democrats are trying to do, they're just trying to distract and they're trying to discredit. That's the two biggest things that they're trying to do. Distract people from the good things that are happening with the Trump administration, to try to get health care passed, the immigration law, and in getting the economy to where it needs to be, creating new jobs, and making good on his campaign promises. It's just the bottom line, making good. And I believe he will. And I think James Comey's been a big distraction. And I got to tell you, we've done tons and tons of shows during those hearings and Hillary Clinton and just the lies that came out. And, Comey could have done something more. She could have been prosecuted easily. And I think that he caved. And a lot of people think that if you can't make an example out of somebody, things are going to continue happening like that in Washington, D.C. Draining the swamp, I think, was a great message that he sent, that he can fire people. And it didn't happen just once. He can do it again. And I've said this before. I think this is something that's going to be where you're not doing your job, you're a distraction, it's not working for this country, then they need to be canned. People are making this big deal out of it. Why was it in the middle of May? Or it should have been done on a Saturday. What day does it? What does it matter? What day it is? He made up his mind. You're fired. He didn't see it coming, and maybe that's a good thing, so he can just get on with his life. And apparently he did. He had some kind of speech in Los Angeles, and he's a private citizen now. It'll be interesting to see and hear his take on this whole particular thing. But I can't imagine, seriously, that Comey's thinking to himself, I never saw it coming. Maybe he didn't see it that day, but to say that Trump wasn't happy with him, he had to have known that a lot of people are not happy the way things that came out, and it really seemed a little, as the English say, dodgy during those hearings with the amount of evidence, the things that he had said about her. All this wrongdoing, but then it came down to, but I didn't think that she did it with malicious intent or all this other. She broke the law. It's just anybody else that did a fraction of what she did would be in the pokey a long time ago. No wonder people don't have respect sometimes for people of higher office, higher authority. And it's kind of a big deal if you hold that badge, don't you think, when you're head of the FBI? Here's some more common sense for you. By the way, I told you that I was going to give you the dollar amount for what we raised on our dollar challenge. If you've been wondering about that, we raised $7 overnight, $7, and $5 of it came from an individual and $2. But you know something? I'm encouraged. I am really, honest to goodness, so encouraged because of that. And the reason being is that the two people that gave are big fans and very encouraging and very supportive. And I appreciate them very, very much for doing what they did. You're an inspiration to me. And actually, one